Welcome. This is for test 2-1 review to prepare you for our next test. This is for the pre-AP version. So looking at the graph below, I need you to name two ordered pairs in the shaded region. How do you know they are in there? So let's first of all, let me get my pen. This is in quadrant 1, and this is in quadrant 2, the shaded region. So what do you know about quadrant 1? Well, we always start at the origin. Origin is like the home base. You either go left or right on the x-axis. Think of it as a number line. If it goes left, it's negative. If it goes right, it's positive. Then you go above or below. The second number tells you to go above or below. If it goes above, it's positive. If it goes below, it's negative. So just pretend I choose a point right here. So I start the origin. I go 6, 4. That is inside the shaded region. And in this one, just pretend I choose one right here. This goes to -7, 9. So this one is 4. So I put down this one. So go over 4, 6. And the y has to be more than 3. If I go up 3, it could be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So y has to be greater than 3. And then quadrant 2, -3, 8. So I start the origin. I go to -3 to the left, and I go north 8. And so the y has to be more than 6.5. Because if you look right here, if you go to -3, the y has to be more than 6.5. So again, when you graph order pairs, think of it x, y. The first number is the x-axis. The second number is for the y-axis. Number 2, if 45 is multiplied by m, which value will give a product less than 45? Which one will give an answer less than? So if I do 45 times 3/2, how do you write 45 as a fraction? 1. 45 times 3 is, I believe, 15. 135 divided by 2. That's going to be way more than 45. I'm not even going to try it. So what about 45 times 3/10? Write 45 as a fraction, put a 1 in. So 45 times 3 is 135 divided by 10. 135 divided by 10 is 13.5. That is less than 45. So let's look at here. Why did I pick B? I could have chosen B without doing any mathematics, because when you are multiplying by part of a fraction, you're not finding the whole piece, because if you multiply by one whole, you're finding the whole answer. But if you multiply by a fraction or a decimal that's less than 1, you only find part of the answer. 3/10 is part of a fraction. It's not a whole fraction, it's part. 3/2 is actually more than one whole. 8/3, cut this in thirds, cut this in thirds, cut this in thirds. This one, this one, this one, so all this is more than a whole. So you're multiplying by more than the number. Which statement is not true? The result of dividing 18 by 1/3, so it's 18 divided by 1/3, is equivalent to multiplying 1/18 by 3. What? You had to do double reciprocal? No. When you divide fraction, you keep the first number. You multiply by its reciprocal. Reciprocal is always the second number. So what's the reciprocal of 1/3? Reciprocal, again, is the flip. You're flipping the numerator with the denominator. It's 3. So it should have been 18 times 3. So that's why A is a bad answer, not true. Let's look at B. So the result of dividing 1/4 by 1/12, so 1/4 times the reciprocal 12/1, that's 12/4, which is 3. That's correct. The result of dividing 280 by 1/7, so 280 times the reciprocal is 7. Yep, that's true. The result of 24 by 5/3, reciprocal of 5/3 is 3/5. That is true. A does not make sense. So again, you got to remember, when you divide fraction, you keep the first number, then you multiply by its reciprocal of the second number. Number 4, Kristin is making spaghetti for a party. Her recipe calls for 3/4 cups of tomato paste, and she needs to make 1.5 recipes. That means she's going to make the recipe, so 3/4. She makes the recipe one time. Then she needs to make the recipe half more. So this is a multiplication. So 3/4 times 1.5. We are multiplying by fraction. 3/4 is a fraction. What's another way to rewrite 1/2 in fraction form, improper fraction? In case you forgot, 1.5. That's like saying 3/2. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 more is 3/2. So if you multiply this, you get 9/8, which is equivalent to 1 and 1/8, because 8 times 1 is 8, plus 1 more is 9/8. Number 5, Salty Pete Saltwater Taffy Shop sold 86.4 kilograms of saltwater taffy in the first 6 days of July. That's a lot of taffy. If each kilogram of taffy sold for $8.15, how much money did he make? You know what? I'm going to round first. 86.4 is kind of close to 90. So they sold about 90 kilograms. And 8.15 is close to, let's say, $8. So if each kilogram of this costs $8, do I want to draw 90 circles and write $8 in each one and do repeated addition? No, I'm doing multiplication. So the answer should be about $720. About. I think it's going to be a little less because this number is less than 90. So I multiply it, 864. So there are many ways you can solve this. I forgot to write the decimal there. So 864 times 8.15 is 1's place. So you just multiply. So 5 times 4, and then you're done with the 5. You make sure you put a placeholder. I usually put an X right there. Then when I'm done with this one, I put 2 placeholder right here. And you get 704,160. But where does the decimal point go? It goes 3 places. So I move it 1, 2, 3, and that's why $704.16. Is this close to $720? So I could use estimating skills to somewhat solve this. Another way you could solve this is you could line up the decimal point, but be aware, this is another way you could solve it. If you have solved it this way, your answer would have been 704,1600. But now, since you annex a 0, there are 4 places behind the decimal point. So that's why you had to move 4 places, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's why you get $704.16. Number 6, Hank has a board that is 6 2/3 feet long. He cuts the board into equal pieces that are 5/6 foot long. How many 5/6 foot pieces can Hank cut from the board? So he has a board that is this long, 6 2/3. He's cutting it or dividing it into smaller sections. That's why it's a division. You're finding out how many 5/6 go into 6 2/3. That's why it's a dividing. So can you rewrite this in improper fraction? 3 times 6 is 18. 2 more is 23rd. Then divide by 5/6. But since it's a dividing, we need to multiply by its reciprocal. What's the reciprocal of 5/6? 6/5. 20 times 6 is 120. 3 times 5 is 15. And you know what? This is an acceptable answer, but I could simplify this. It actually goes in perfectly. If you divide 120 by 15, it goes in 8 times exactly, and that's why it's 8 pieces. Number 7, the Transportation Department is resurfacing 8.4 miles of roadways in Navarro County. The crew completes work on 0.35-mile section of roadway each hour. So every hour they do 3,500s. So 1 hour, 3,500. So I could make a table here if I want to. So this is the miles, and these are the hour. They do 3,500 in 1 hour. Another 3,500 will be 7,000, 2 hours. Another 3,500 is 1.05, 3 hours. So how many hours will it take to complete the resurfacing project? So I'm finding out how many of these go into here. So that means it's a dividing question. So it's 8.4 divided by, oh, I forgot the decimal point right here, 0.35. So in here, if I divide this, um, what place do you like working with decimals? I don't. I'd rather work with whole number. I think working with whole number is so much easier. So do they have the same place value? Well, this is in the hundreds place. You know what? I'm going to annex a 0 here. So now it has the same place value. So I'm going to multiply by 100. What's 35 times 100? It's 3,500. You move the decimal 2 over, and that's why it's 35. A shortcut is when you multiply by 100, you're really moving the decimal 2 over. So 840 times 100 is 84,000, but you moved the decimal 2 over. That's why it's 840. Again, the shortcut is you just move the decimal 2 over. So what's 840 divided by 35? It goes in 2 times, then it goes in 4 times, 24 hours. It'll take 1 day or 24 hours to complete all 8.4 miles of roadways in Navarro County. Number 8. You will be required to know how to regroup fraction. There are 2 ways of regrouping, the traditional way or the improper way. So let's start with the traditional way. So I have 10 and 1/3 minus 6 1/2. So what do they, when you add and subtract fraction, you have to find a common denominator. So the common denominator is 6. How do you turn this 6 times 2? That's 2 6 times 3, 3 6. Can I take away a 3 from a 2? Do I have enough to take away 3 6 from 2 6? No. Last year in elementary school, you learned something called regrouping. So we're going to regroup here. So I take away from the 10, becomes a 9. How do you turn a 10 to a 9? You're taking away what from the 10 to go to a 9? 1 whole. So can I write this 1 whole as a fraction? You could say 1 1, 2 2, 3 thirds, 4 fourths, 5 fifths, 6 6. But only one of these will be able to add to 2 6. Which one do you think it's going to be? As someone said in my 3rd period class, you need to find one with the same common denominator, 6 6. So 6 6 plus 2 6 is 8 6. Now can I subtract? 8 6 minus 3 6 is 5 6. The whole numbers, 9 minus 6 is 3 and 5 6. That's one way to solve it. I have kids who don't like regrouping. They rather do improper, and I'm good with that. 10 times 3 is 30 plus 1 is 31 third. Minus 2 times 6 is 12 plus 1 is 13 half. So do they have a common denominator? 6. How do you turn a 3 to a 6? The relationship is times 2. 31 times 2 is 62. 6. How do you turn a 2 to a 6 times 3? That's 39 6. So can I subtract 62 6 minus 39 6? Yes, you can. Definitely you can. So what is 62 minus 39? 10, 11, 12. That's 3. Regroup. So it's 23rd 6. Is this answer 3 and 5, 6 the same as saying 23rd 6? Let's see. 6 times 3 is 18. Plus 5 more is 23rd 6. So 23rd 6 and 3 and 5 6 are the same answer. Number 9, a construction company orders tiles for the kitchen and 3 bathrooms of a new home. Big house. The kitchen floor measures 48 square feet. 2 bathrooms have floors that each measure 30 and a half or 30.5. The 3rd bathroom measures 42 and a half, 42.5 square feet. If the tile costs $2.38 for each square foot, what is the amount of money the company spends on tile for all 3 bathrooms? Oh, the kitchen is junk information. I did see some students who came to me using that. So we have bathroom 1, bathroom 2, and bathroom 3. The first 2 bathrooms are all 30 and a half or 30.5. The 3rd bathroom is 42 and a half or 42.5. If you add up the area of all 3 bathrooms, it's 103.5. So you know what? I'm going to estimate this. That's about 100 square foot. And it costs $2 for each square foot. So we're going to spend about in excess of about $200 because this is more than, so a little more than $200. So I multiply 10.35, so 103.5 times $2.38. And so I multiply, and I'm not going to go over this. This is something you learned since elementary school. The only thing you may have forgotten or did not know is when you multiply by 2, you cancel out these two places. You put 2 x's. So you get 246,330. You move it 3 places, and is this answer close to $200? A little more. Yes, it is. However, for those who prefer to line up the decimal point, no worries on that one. You could line it up like that way, but then your answer would be 2463300. But because you annex a 0, you have to move it 4 places, and you still get the same answer. Number 10. Ryan has a collection of 220 baseball cards. He let his brother have 1/4 of his collection, and he sells 1/5 of his collection to the baseball card shop. He takes 15 cards to school to give to his friend. How many remain? So he has 220. He gave 1/4 of his collection. 1/4 of how many does he have? 220. So 1/4 of 220. Well, you're finding part of an answer. You're multiplying. So how do you write 220 as a fraction? 220 over 1. So 1 times 220, 4 times 1. So 220 divided by 4 is 55 cards, because you cannot give a fraction of a card to a brother. Then he sells 1/5 of the collection. 1/5 of 220. So 220 over 5 is 44 cards. So he gave his brother 55. He sold or got rid of 44 cards because he sold it. Then he takes 15 away. So if you add up 55, 44, and 15, it adds up to 114. If he started with 220 minus 114, he has 106 cards remained. So good luck on your test that you'll be taking tomorrow.